Okay, Monday, 5th February 2024. Day recap, trade review for the ES and the NQ. A decent day today. A day where I was able to follow my process, not deviate from it as such. Made a few changes here and there, which we'll go through why I did them. But regardless, happy with what I achieved today in terms of my process goals. And let's go with the plans first, what I had planned for the day for the ES and the NQ, and then we'll go over what I actually did or did not. So starting with the ES. So end of last week, ES actually looked underneath its prior week's low, found buyers, and ripped straight up to close outside of the previous week's range and had an outside week up. So it had a peak, look below and fail scenario on a weekly level, and that's what we got from it. So Thursday rallied hard, Friday again rallied hard, and here we are sitting at new all-time highs, closing above previous all-time highs, coming into Monday. The plan was rather simple, looking to buy dips unless something really changes, which given the recent trends and where we are trading, hard to presume something changes rather quickly. So pretty much I had two levels of interest today from where I would try longs. The first was this one, 49.60.54 region, which there's a little 15-minute demand zone here, and then this is the afternoon pullback low from last Friday, and it's almost at previous all-time highs from which it broke last Friday. So all in all, the area makes sense. The overnight low is almost right there, so if this plan was to take place, it would also be a flush of the overnight low at this point of time. So good things going on for this level. This was my first level, and then if this was not to hold, if the level was not to hold, I was mainly looking for longs from this side, which would be a test of the previous 3-day balance high, Friday's low basically, and then there's a little test of the buy tail because Friday left a buy tail here, and then that was that. This was the main level. Longs from here, maybe shorts from here if we get an opportunity, if with a clear break below and hold before reaching this region. And simple plan on ES. Now let's go to the plan on the NQ. NQ, similar story where it rallied both last Thursday and Friday. It did not really look, it wasn't a lick below and fail scenario as such because it was already trading underneath prior week's low at that point of time. But despite that fact, it rallied pretty much all Thursday, all of Friday. Did not make it to its prior all-time high. Stopped 30 handles short of it, which for the NQ 30 handles really mean nothing. And again, the plan was rather simple given the recent strength and where we are trading. Again, looking to buy dips. The first region is again this one, 660-640, which is roughly the afternoon pullback low, and there's a little demand zone there. And then if this were to fail, this is my main region. This is since we are up here and given the strength, this was a minor level, this was a minor zone, because you never know where the price is heading. And then if this doesn't end up working, this is my major area where I'm only really looking from longs, nothing else. That's my main bias from this area. Give buyers the benefit of the doubt, and they left this massive buy tail last Friday, which we can see in the market profile as such. Massive buy tail, and this is the little 30 minutes RBR, and then this buy tail behind it. So that was the reason behind why I was looking for longs from there in the first place. I did not have any plans for any shots up from here. I just it's like jumping in front of a moving train, which I had no plans on doing. So simple plans, both on the ES and NQ, mainly longs. Now let's go through what happened throughout the day and what I ended up doing. So also we had PMI coming out at 9:45 and 10 a.m. 9:45 a.m. It didn't really change anything. 10 p.m. the ISM PMI comes out and the initial reaction is down. It creates a good enough selling pressure both in the ES and the NQ. The very first trade I took for the day was this long in the NQ. Took it on the change as it was in my zone. Fits the system. Of course, it's against the selling, and it's it's against the selling, and it's quite still close to the news time. Like it's just 5 minutes after, 6 minutes after. But the system really, I still don't have any intraday filters as such in my system, and if it fits in the level and if it fits my plan, I take it. So I just took it for the change and closed it for 15 points. Should have taken 20. There was a little push and pull between the MGI, which says it's like the selling is strong. The level you have marked as a minor zone clearly says 15-minute minor, and this is my main region. So I had that in the back of the mind that I marked this zone as minor. The plan clearly says if we open at the top and happen to sell off strong, discard this zone and then longs from here. So if we open somewhere here and then just looming around, take this long first. But if we come up from the top and we happen to sell off strong, discard this level, let it come down here, and then happily take longs from here. That was how I planned it. So I did take this first change, and I had that in the back of my mind. I had the selling in the back of my mind, but I also have to follow my goals and my process where it says just take the damn trade if it fits in the system. And I ended up doing that. I did not end up holding it to one, which was the emotional part. Also weighing in to have a green trade with the MGI, so it was a mix, and that's how I saw it on the hard right edge. A bit slow to close, some emotions of a win plus also MGI. So even while reviewing it, that's what it was. Of course, if I had waited, I would have gotten those 20 points 2-1. But regardless, then I again took the second change here and came back to the level. But this one I scratched break even though I'm not allowed to do so. But it's again, since this decision was objective and it was not based on my emotions or my feelings or what I think the market should do or could do. I think this was a decent scratch. The reasons remain the same with the selling and all, and then this being a minor zone. Like if it had already given one weak push, and the selling pressure is quite considerably strong. So this is a 10 a.m. PMI candle. Minus 2k on the NQ is really something. And then this is where I took the first long, the second long, which I scratch out break even. Decision was MGI based. There was some wanting to not give away profits from the first trade, but the VIX was going higher at that point of time, and there was enough information to cut the trade short, which I ended up doing. And then it breaks down, never really reaches the level, nothing for me, never really comes up to the top to give a proper retest rope so I can try short. Of course, in hindsight, I could have taken it anywhere, but that's not the system. It doesn't make me feel anything. I don't feel that I missed out on the shot. It's in open space, it is what it is. And then at this point of time, I took a similar sort of long trade in the ES. This level again was important, had enough confidence. It was also close to the news. The selling pressure was of course very strong. Since I don't have any filters in the system yet, doesn't matter. I was following the system, I was following the process, and this was a part of it, and that's fine. Took a 3-4 point loss on it, and it just went straight down. Again, same thing as the NQ, never really gave it a proper retest to my level, nothing for me to do, and then it falls back down again, never really comes to my level, nothing for me to do, and it's just one of those days where the retests are not proper or perfect or how they should fit in the system, and if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, nothing I can do. Move on and wait until something else comes up. And then we waited all afternoon. This was a really good push down to my main area from where I wanted longs, and this is where things are a little bit here and there on the NQ, because of course it clearly broke below my mark zone within my trigger chart, and that's one of the rules I have. If it breaks the level is broken and cannot really do much rather than wait and see the reaction and see how change occurs from there. So since it's broken, I cannot really take a long here, and I did not do it. Of course, in hindsight, probably this was the best trade for the day, but I have some rules in place for a reason. And even though this time this would have worked, the amount of times that it will hurt me by front running the levels or by taking trades outside my level, that would be a much more hurtful scenario than just missing this one trade, which is not really a miss because it doesn't fit the process. Regardless, the things that were going on for this trade, without being strictly adhering to the process, if we are objectively seeing the information that was provided. So of course the selling push is very, very strong, but we are selling off into an area where we are expecting buyers to show their hold, where they showed their hands last Friday, where they left a massive big buying tail and consolidated for some time to fill some positions and go up. So it's really nice place. And then the NQ gives really nice exhaustive push with strong selling. You have this delta and a lot of things line, but because my goal is to stay to my process, just execute my process flawlessly, I ended up not taking the trade. Later, of course, seeing it rip up, it did give me some sort of feeling that maybe I should have taken that. Even now, with the benefit of the hindsight, and even then, I realized today this was not my trade, and I cannot expect to take every single take opportunity or trade out of the market. Sometimes it doesn't set up, and that was what we got today. Same with the yes, we didn't really get anything up until around here, and it's just, so I took this shot, the second shot, right when it touched the VWAP, and at this point of time, even though they were selling in the morning, some things have changed, and the system doesn't recognize change at this point of time, and because I was following the system, I took it. And again, this trade had clear signs that I could have taken a smaller loss or just scratched it probably altogether, because I was up in 52s, and if we were to go to the ES, probably would have gotten out somewhere here at the close of this candle, because this is what I would like to see if I was to go long, not when I was short. Regardless, I just let it be because system. Just follow the process, and it's the process that produces consistent results. It's not about one individual trait, and that was what it was about today. It's not about this trait or not this trait or this trait or this trait or this trait. It's about a collection of all of these. And even though today, if I took all the tries according to my process, it would have been negative, but that's a singular day's expectancy, which really doesn't matter if the system produces positive expectancy and results in the long run or over a large sample size than just five traits. So took this top out in the ES, and similar thing in the NQ. Took this second change, did not take the first one as I was recognizing the change. Like there was this little bit of conflict with me actually seeing what's happening and with me having or wanting to follow the system as well. And since so something slightly different between the ES and the NQ today, ES did not actually really come up to the level that I would have really liked it coming. So even though it still had traveled 30 points from top to bottom within an hour and a half or so, an hour 15 minutes, the spectrum of opportunity, as I would describe, still there's maybe slightest bit of juice left, but with the NQ, it came all the way down to the main level of interest, exhausted itself there, and then it was pushing back up from there with strength, squeezing all these people on the way, showing some strength, and that was one big difference within the trade between the ES and the NQ, that even though it had a similar sort of situation here, it still didn't reach the target as such. ES also had an exhaustive push. It had really three strong pushes, and that was that. So same but different kind of scenarios. And that was the conflict that I had with the first change, but then I resisted and took the second change just to not mess with the system. And probably I just got lucky and it did end up working out. Even though if I'd taken stop out on the first one, I would still have been net positive for the day. So that is the power of the system by itself. I would have been negative on ES, but on the NQ, I would have, even if I'd taken all four trades that fit in my system and let them be, I would have come out net positive. Or maybe not, because this one just was 1 point shy of 2 to 1. So, and for similar reasons, I did end up cutting this for 18 instead of 20 points, because again, the conflict between following the system to the T and what's objectively literally happening in front of my eyes. And today, something very good that came out of today, because I let the system be so simple, it really preserved my mental capital, and it really helped me see things in a clearer, more objective manner, rather than be pushed and drowned in my expectations with my emotions today, because I tried to really just keep it as simple as possible because I had a terrible last week where I did not have any consistency. So tried to create or come up with a very simple, very consistent system, and it really preserved my mental capital. Let me stay in the now moment at most of the times where I could really think objectively and just see what was going on from the market's perspective. So this is my biggest takeaway from today, that the system may be simple, but the effect or the profound effects that it has or at least that for today. Obviously, it's a sample size of 1 day. We need more days, but it's a start. And that was what I meant when I said in the starting of the video that it was a very good process day. I do not really care about the P&L at this point of time. It's mostly about creating a consistent process which I can track, which I can improve, which I can analyze, which I did not have until this point of time. And it's really, really hard to improve something that you can't record or analyze objectively. And yeah, that was the best thing that came off today, that I could follow the process. I could more or less keep my emotions out of it. Of course, they're not gone all the way. It's a long way to go, but that's why we are here. That's why we are here for, to keep improving, to keep getting better. Here's to hopefully here's to hopefully many more days of following the process and executing the process flawlessly. One thing that just happened today was just one of those days where the pullbacks just never really reached the levels of interest. So this pullback never reached the level. This never reached the level and ended up going to target. Almost ended up going to target. And now when we are here actually to the level, it's coming from target. And then when it goes back up again, it just misses the level short of, shy of some handles. And it's just one of those days where the actual trades don't set up, and it is what it is. It is real life, and we deal with what we get. Interestingly, just after the close of the session, presented this picture perfect setup. I do not trade after the close. It's okay. Anyways, good day. Hopefully to another good days and weeks coming forward. Awesome.